Welcome to Absolutely Marvel and DC, the channel where I sit down with a bunch of buddies and chat about your favorite TV shows, movies, and various things in the world of cinema. We are cinemaphiles, Sal, are we not?
I'd say so, yeah, definitely. That's a fair
We like
assessment.
movies. We do.
We do.
Which means we watch Suicide Squad, or I'm sorry, The Suicide Squad.
There you go.
So today we're going to be giving you our full spoiler-laden review of The Suicide Squad, talking about what we liked, disliked, and what is going on. Let me give you a super fast recap, because I'm going to assume that if you're watching a spoiler-laden review, you have seen The Suicide Squad. 2 Suicide Squads arrive, one dies, the other one moves in, a lot of funny stuff happens. They end up running into the enemy base and discover that, oh no, Starro's there. Then they fight Starro, and it's fun. There's your fast recap.
That's true. That is what happens in the movie.
It's a great way to say it.
So,
Perfect.
So I want to kick this discussion off by going, Sal, I can't believe how right we were.
Yes.
So
Which part?
early on, for those who don't know, Sal and I were saying there is too many cast members. I feel like it's going to be 2 missions.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you feel about the movie opening up like it was going to be Savant and Rick Flag and Harley and Javelin?
Right?
And everyone immediately, like at the moment Weasel fell in and drowned, I was like,
oh,
we've never seen Weasel in anything in the trailer outside of that one
flashback.
scene.
Yeah. That's it. I loved it. I thought that was a funny misdirect. I dug the entire experience. I got to tell you, I didn't expect anyone who looked like a superhero outside of Peacemaker, and only because I was spoiled and knew about the show they're making. Everybody else who had a costume, I was like, everyone's gonna die. Like Javelin's gonna die, Weasel's gonna die. What's it called? Pete Davidson is gonna die just because it's Pete Davidson, and nobody
I
else to look
like
at him.
Pete Davidson, but apparently no one else does. They all want him to die.
No, I don't. I like him on SNL, kind of, and that's literally it. I was like, oh man, this guy's pretty funny. I'm gonna watch a stand-up, and I'm like, oh, click.
I've never seen his stand-up. I've seen him on SNL, and I think he's really good on SNL.
Yes,
So-
and he's great dying in this movie.
What I loved about this misdirection is they held it right to the to this day. I tried Googling things, and they Courtney Jai still comes up.
Oh, I know. No, Captain Boomerang was the biggest moment for me, and it sent a message, and the message was anyone can go.
Yeah,
because of course, if you're a comic book fan, you're like, well, Captain Boomerang is kind of plot proof. Just by virtue of it being funny that Captain Boomerang has never yet died on the Suicide Squad.
He has died 3 times, actually, Sal.
Well,
he always comes back.
He keeps coming back.
Always comes back.
And, Jai Courtney's been looking for... I mean, I only like him as Captain Boomerang. I think he's atrocious in everything I've ever seen him in. Most egregious of which was Die Hard 5. That was the worst one. But not only of the diehards, but also of the Jai Courtney appearances. But him actually just being Australian and going for it, I was kind of excited to see him in a kind of comic-accurate costume actually do things in this movie. Meh!
I liked that they ended it with the boomerangs glowing, because for those who don't know, that implies he's coming back at some point. Or at least it's open-ended enough that if, WB came back, they could do it. I doubt he'll ever come back.
No, that's done. I think that's as done as everyone who actually died in this movie. I don't think Mongal is coming back either.
I had to Google Mongal. I'm like, who is Mongal?
Yeah, I don't know.
When she jumped in to tackle the helicopter.
So good.
My favorite was Savant, though.
Just abandon them.
What? You're not talking about gonna mention TDK where he stands there, he's like,
Okay.
Slap,
TDK was probably the... I liked when they were shooting up his arms, and Nathan Fillion is just like, Yeah, but he has no arms.
Yeah.
He's like, and it's just very lightly
Yeah, what? I mean, yeah, he was created to die. And we know apparently that James Gunn and Nathan Fillion are friends, so, James Gunn kept trying to stick Nathan Fillion in the Guardians movies, and... to no effect, but it was exciting to see him for a half second. I was a little disappointed because I like Nathan Fillion. I would have liked to have seen him in more, but maybe not as TDK. since he was just cannon fodder, which is fine. Like that was all fun. But it was a great misdirect where it's like, wait, the whole team is dead, save Rick and Harley, and then swoosh. Team B, you're actually doing the mission. I'm like, that was genius. Way to go.
It really was. And Team B, because our biggest complaint was there's too many people on the cast. Yeah. Team B is 5 people.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so in the first 10 minutes, you opened it up, and it felt like Suicide Squad right out of the comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because someone always dies in the intro of a comic book.
Pretty much.
Or an entire team dies in the intro of a comic book.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
And it worked out really well. It was a fun opening for the movie. It also, of course, was probably one of the more gory moments of the whole movie, despite all the gore, or at the very least, super violence that happens throughout the movie. You know, people get ripped in half. At least 2 people get ripped in half. Not to mention all the implied horror that goes on in this movie, but I feel like this one was the most concentrated. Like you get this, and it's this kind of like, you know, get them, like watch them die, eat this, and it's like just to kind of get it all out of your system, and also to set the tone of this movie.
Well, right off the bat, they shot Pete Davidson in the face.
Yeah, boom,
and they showed it. I was like, we're going there. This is definitely James Gunn. And no one is stopping him.
Right.
And then the boomerang slice like through the skull and it just slides off. That was when you're like, oh, they're really going to show it. They're going to show it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the fact that they started off with the Suicide Squad Team A because they introduced the Suicide Squad before the members. And I felt like that was the perfect way for people who don't know the Suicide Squad. So you just go in and you're like, so that's what the Suicide Squad does. Oh, they're dead.
Yeah.
Okay, but I know what they do. Now let's introduce the actual members so I can get like involved in the character and I don't have to get that explanation later. I thought that was very well done.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do appreciate where they went to by going to the Team A. Then we got like a quick 5-minute flashback explaining Bloodsport.
Yep.
And then we're right back on the island. Like, James Gunn didn't waste any time in this movie. One of the biggest problems I had with the first movie was they wasted so much time. Okay, let's show a background with Will Smith. And okay, he's got a Batman, but it's not actually Ben Affleck. But we'll make
Ben
it
Affleck. He's there.
Was it?
Yeah, no, they shot him. He's in there. He has lines in that movie. For that matter, Ezra Miller is Flash in that movie. Like,
that's true, yeah.
They put effort into that thing to build a universe, and of course if you follow what that movie was supposed to be and who the villains were supposed to be, it's like oh this was going to be like your pre-Justice League movie, like okay. But no, yeah, I also misremembered. I thought it was not Ben Affleck either. Like I thought it was just him because it's not Ben Affleck.
Like when he's on the car for
when he's on
Harley
the car.
Quinn. Yeah, that's not Ben Affleck.
No. But him talking to Deadshot in that alleyway, it's totally him. And the only reason why I know that, and the reason why I'm even bringing it up, is because every once in a while I'll go back because I think of scenes from Suicide Squad. Like that movie kind of like stuck in my craw for some reason, and I'll watch them and be like, did they really do this? And they did. And I was just watching it today. I was just watching the Deadshot using the guns scene, and I'm like, this scene still pretty much holds up. But then it reminded me about the Ben Affleck scene. I'm like, let me watch that. Oh my God, that's really Ben Affleck in that suit. Like, why did he, like, I guess in one day of shooting, why not? How much money did he probably get? $500,000? Why not?
To show up and just wear the bat suit for a minute.
Right, wear the bat suit. It's made for you.
So I did appreciate that they didn't waste any time on really, like, let's say 30, because I mean, the first one was like, what, 30, 45 minutes of what felt like a Hot Topic commercial after. I mean, I would have preferred to have seen the David Ayer cut, but the one that they did was like, okay, half the movie is a Hot Topic promo ad featuring your favorite DC characters. Yes. In this movie, they're just like, this is Idris, what's his name? Idris Elba. Why couldn't I say that?
It's hard to say.
This is Idris Elba. Here's his character. Here's his daughter. Here's his motivation. Back to the island.
Right.
Like, and that's it. And then we established Polka-Dot Man as we're going.
Yes.
We established Nanu as we're going.
Yes.
And we established Peacemaker as we're going. And I liked that instead of wasting time building them before we got into the movie.
Agreed.
And Ratcatcher. I want to make sure Ratcatcher's known because I really liked the way that they did her background.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets her own movie based on how beloved she has become in just a few short days. So
she saves the day, but we'll get to that. Anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. She's great.
I did look it up. It's a fun fact. So the reason why Idris Elba was there as Bloodsport is not as a replacement for Will Smith. They actually, James Gunn tried to get Will Smith back.
Really?
Oh,
It was
interesting.
supposed to be Deadshot.
Was it?
But they couldn't because of the pushback from the pandemic. James Gunn couldn't delay shooting because of Guardians 3.
Oh.
And Will Smith is locked into 2 movies right now, so they couldn't do it.
Okay.
So they swapped him out. That's what they're claiming. Whether or not it actually went down that way, who knows? But apparently he wanted Deadshot, but they're toting it as it actually worked out better because it makes this feel separate as opposed to.
It completely does. It works so much better, I think. I would have liked to have seen Deadshot because I liked Will Smith's portrayal, but Idris Elba is just charming as hell. His portrayal of Bloodsport is hilarious. Just using that character at all is amazing, but also just the way in which Elba portrays that character. And it's like, it's also kind of like a cracked mirror version of the last movie where it's, hey, look, it's a guy who's estranged from his wife, who's got a kid, and it's a girl, and he really wants to take care of her. And, it's like, you superficially speaking, you're like, I think I kind of saw this movie already. And then it's like, oh no. From the relationship with his daughter all the way down to his approach and everything, it's just totally different. Tonally and completely. I loved it. I loved everything about it. All those characters. Every actor's perfectly cast. Every character was given enough time to breathe. Those who didn't need the time didn't get the time. Peter Capaldi's Thinker, we only need like the few seconds of information that we get to know who that guy is, what he's all about. Plus, it's Capaldi, which is like one of those stunt cast things that I'm like, I don't really care for it, but it's movie shorthand to save you time. You look at Peter Capaldi, you're like, son of a bitch. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Dan, before I move forward with this?
No, I thought, I agree. I'm actually really glad that they chose Bloodsport instead of keeping Deadshot, because Harley did make it a little difficult sometimes to separate the 2 Suicide Squad movies, and I think the more that they had from the original cast, the harder it would be to really hammer home this is not the same universe kind of thing. Like, this is its own separate movie. It's not a sequel. It's its own thing.
What is it, 4 cast members come back? Because it's Harley, it's Amanda Waller, it's Rick Flag, and it's Captain Boomerang.
Okay,
so I got at least 4.
I only remembered Harley and Amanda Waller as the 2 that came out. I didn't recognize Rick Flag at all.
Rick Flag had a goatee in the first movie.
Yes, he did.
But it was the same
facial hair does change the way you look tremendously.
That's
so
true.
I will.
He's also like
no one can picture me without the beard anymore.
No, it's true.
When I go to the old videos and you're clean shaven, I'm like, who the hell's this guy?
Yeah, what? But I got to tell you, by the way, Rick Flag, another chance for Joel Kinnaman to actually do something productive. He looks like, I don't know, 20 pounds heavier in this movie and healthier. Like, he looks better in this movie. And I think he's so much. It's not. Maybe it's direction. Maybe it's just the portrayal of the character. Maybe it's just him getting another shot. But I like his Rick Flag better. I kind of get it. Like, I get the progression of it if you want to connect those 2 movies. But if you don't, you still, I think, get Rick Flag, and you don't need to worry about the last one. But Kinnaman getting a chance to do another version of that character is fantastic. Everybody who comes back gets another shot at that character and does a terrific job with it. Like, does more with it.
Well, I mean, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is so... Like, this... Okay.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad 1, I liked her. Birds of Prey, what was even happening in that? Suicide Squad... With the Suicide Squad, I love the character again. Like, she's a great Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I liked her in Birds of Prey as well. Birds of Prey itself, but her...
Right. She did it okay, but it was trying too hard to not be a Harley Quinn movie. It was weird.
Each time she gets a chance to use that character, she does it. She improves it. And it's not even like, I don't even think it's like a night and day change of the character. It's just she adds something to it. And you can see, my wife pointed this out on our show, but like, if you look at her tattoos in this movie, like, she replaces tattoos. Like, she changed one. I think it said like property of the Joker. And then in this one, it's like property of no one. And it's like they actually like made physical changes to her character to imply a growth and a progression, which is like who's paying attention? It feels like nobody was paying attention. I guess Robbie is. She's like, oh, by the way, like, she's talking to the makeup people. By the way, I had a tattoo here. I want to change that. Like, she is a producer, so I can imagine her doing that. But that being said, but she's terrific. Can't be understated. Her Harley Quinn's great. Great job.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the moving forward. We get joke. Polka-Dot Man. And we get to know a little bit more about Peace. Polka-Dot Man was amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
I just love the first time they bring it up, and he's got the polka dots, and he's like, it's nothing. And everyone just ignores it. They're like, okay.
Yeah. Polka-Dot Man, best... The thing is, I want to say he has some of the best character progression in this movie, and obviously I think they kind of really focus on it to give you that, but everyone who is given a character has an arc, and like I really appreciate it. I don't know. I think it's just really cool. Like,
it was a very character-driven piece for something that had the bombastic superhero-ness, which we'll get to.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
it was perfectly timed when they did each of them, because it was all the origins and the backstories were perfectly placed during what would normally be slow parts of the movie of, we're in a bus ride and we're just traveling this distance, backstory. And it's like, it just flowed so well that at no point did it feel like, okay, are we gonna get somewhere here?
Yeah.
Are we gonna like do something, or are we just gonna chill out in a van for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
But
no, this James Gunn could not have made this movie back when he made Guardians 1. Like, Guardians 1 and 2 are phenomenal. I love those movies, and I think he does a nice job with them. But this movie it's like a masterclass in director progression. It's like when you see Edgar Wright, like when you watch Shaun and you watch Hot Fuzz. It's just night and day how, like, those movies have the filmmaker's progression has evolved. And you can see, like, Gunn makes a tight flick now. And it's jam-packed. You know, it's like, 11 characters, huge set pieces, massive, colorful action sequences, and also your attention is there the whole time. It's hard to do.
So the big character in the discussion here, John Cena's Peacemaker, who I finally got a feel for when they made their way to the Resistance camp that they didn't know was the Resistance camp, and it's just him in Bloodsport killing literally the whole camp.
Yeah,
The best, in my opinion, my favorite line in the whole thing is like, no one likes to show off. Yeah, but you got to show off when it's dope as fuck.
Yep.
And he's like, God damn it, he's right. It was so good.
Yeah.
I like when he did the non-lethal, and he's like, it's non-lethal, it doesn't count. And then it like blows up.
It explodes, yeah. No, I love
good.
Cena in this movie. It's one of those things where it's just perfect casting. Like, I don't think Cena is great in everything, but if you know how to use him properly,
The best part about that, if you've seen interviews with John Cena, he's a very articulated, professional individual.
Absolutely.
And I feel like Peacemaker was just John Cena being John Cena in a shiny helmet.
Right. Right. I mean, but he does it so well, and I gotta applaud Cena's approach, because not just the approach to the character and the way that he portrays Peacemaker and the turn, and like you should have seen it coming, and if you didn't, that's okay, because you were kind of lulled in by this kind of like goofy nature. But
I won't lie, I did not see it coming that he was going to be the heel. I did not see it.
I should have, and I feel like an idiot. I was like, oh my God. My wife, of course, was like, yeah, of course, duh. And I'm like, right, I'm an idiot. But like
one of them has to be a traitor.
just there's no way that his goals will align with theirs, because he thinks he's a hero. Like, he is not a villain in his eyes. But that notwithstanding, John Cena's then meta marketing for the movie, where he went to the premiere in the costume and he talks up the character, and it's this genius kind of theatrical, it can only come from wrestling kind of brilliance, where it's like you get a lot of attention. It's a good-looking costume, but also you're showing your love and camaraderie for the film and the people in it. Also, you're promoting your show. There's so much attached to him, like going to premieres wearing the costume and just selling the movie, that it's just like from a marketing standpoint, I'm like, oh my God. Like, there's no way anyone told him to do that. That guy just knows how to do that.
Well, he's like The Rock in that aspect. I feel like he's taken a lot of lessons from the way The Rock transferred out of wrestling into the career that he has now.
I think he's doing a little bit. It's more modern. Like, The Rock was, I'm going to be the new Arnold, and it's like he just muscled his way in, and now he's The Rock, and now he's Dwayne Johnson. He just severed that tie. John Cena's like playing the game. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he had like a TikTok where he, as Peacemaker, like answered trollish comments.
That would be good.
You know what I mean?
would watch those.
So would I.
Peacemaker with TikTok. Just
Oh my God.
reacting to things.
Yeah,
like,
where is that?
Oh man,
'Cause they only have to
Yeah,
be-
I would totally kill that guy for peace.
Yeah, 30 minutes. Here are all the questions. Just respond to all of them. We'll span it out over a month. Here's $10,000. Like, that's it. Just genius. Anyway.
So, okay, let's go to the character, which I feel was the scene stealer, because when she shows up initially, I'm like, oh, this will be the whatever character they kill early on. I was assuming, because I was like, okay, so they gotta like even out the group here. You can't have 6 dudes and 1 girl. So Ratcatcher's going to be the token other female character so that they can just have an even number. You know what I mean? But she's probably going to die early. And she became like my all-time favorite out of this movie. Her and Polka-Dot Man just stole the show for me with Peacemaker right after that.
Right.
Like,
yeah. No, man, yeah. The sympathy you have for every character in this is so well earned. Like from King Shark to Ratcatcher 2 to Polka-Dot Man to Rick Flag. You're kind of like, and even Harley to some extent, like they actually give her a whole movie in this movie. But Ratcatcher 2, phenomenal acting, and I love the filmmaking device of the flashback being in the reflection of the bus, and
it was so artistically well done.
Yeah.
He did such a great artistic work with that. I also loved, jumping a little ahead here, the final fight sequence in the reflection of the helmet.
Yeah, not bad.
I was like, this is incredible. It's a great way to do it and not just make it another normal 2 guys slugging it out.
I mean, that's what it is, and that's the brilliance of Gunn's approach now, where like if he were making this like pre-Guardians 1, the whole fight would have been in the reflection of the helmet because that was the idea he had. But like this movie, as you guys pointed out, is tight. This movie is lockstep. It is just, it is a perfectly well-oiled machine. And so right when you're like, okay, guys, this helmet thing, cut. See action sequence.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Like just nice hat trick. Way to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that shot is cool. So that way you don't think it's tedious or it's a gimmick. Instead, you're like, hey, remember that helmet shot? That's all you need to remember. That's
I love that.
Yeah.
And then of course King Shark. I feel like he was good. He was, but I feel like he was the one that didn't get a lot. Like they didn't explain him at all.
No,
but I also feel like if they did, it's one of those situations that's a lot to explain if you actually want to go into King Shark.
No, they're not going to do that. But it's one of those situations where it's show not tell. Like every scene with King Shark past like the third or like 2/3 like point is so just devastatingly sad. Every shot where like he's trying to make friends and they abandon him or they neglect him or they walk away from him or they leave him on the bus. The scene of him, just the shot of him just on, the scene of him with Peacemaker, he makes a little thing and Peacemaker just makes fun of him. Then he turns and Peacemaker's left him there. The scene where he's on the bus alone and there is no payoff for that. He's just alone on the bus. He can't come and he's crying. Devastating.
Yeah.
And he finally gets the friends in the fish, and he's like,
and then they try to eat him. Like,
I was so sad about that because I'm like, no, he was so excited. But Ratcatcher kept him as like she was the 2 of them, and it was great because she said you'd have never had friends, you know.
Right. No, that pays off. That's one of those things where it's like they set it up early. It could have been played off as a joke. It might have even been a joke initially, but then it becomes a thing at the end where it's earned and you like it. And it's like you could have done a joke where if Benny was right and they didn't really care about Ratcatcher 2, she's like, I'm gonna hug him, and then he eats her.
I kind of thought that was that. That is when I thought she was going to die.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was Bloodsport and Peacemaker both being like, "You're being dumb. Stop doing that."
Don't hug.
And she's over there with him. I thought when she was shaking his hand and she turned back, that was going to be it.
Yeah. And I think Gunn knew you thought that too. I think that's why he did that. But it's like, and that's the brilliance of like the opening sequence being so like gritty and raw and miserable. Is like you think the movie is going to be this kind of self-indulgent gore and misery fest, which I'm not interested in and I'm not signing up for, which is why I don't like a lot of earlier like James Gunn movies. But like,
I mean, I agree. I'm not a fan of the Hostile movies and stuff like that.
Right? Yeah, I'm not.
I don't
interested
like watching
in
this stuff
porn.
just for having it.
Yeah. Like, remember that scene where that person was ripped apart?
What's that?
No, that was Eli Roth.
Oh, okay. I was
no, but it's the same style of movie, kind of like early Saw movies, where it's just like what you're watching is torture porn. Like, I think I'm good. You know what I mean?
Like, watch young people get theirs. Why? But yeah,
like you're saying, James Gunn directed that, and I'm like, that is very different from his current work.
No,
So moving forward, we had the hilarious scene where they accidentally killed all the resistance fighters.
Right, genius.
In the best way possible, that they're both just showing off different ways to kill.
Yep.
It wasn't even like they were trying to defend themselves. They were literally, if they had, that I think is the brilliance of that scene.
Yeah.
Because going into it, you just think they're being badass. They're just sneaking around.
Right.
But when they finally realize what's going on,
Yeah.
you think, at least for me, I thought about like, if one person had seen them,
Right.
if one person had seen them and acknowledged them,
Yeah.
they probably wouldn't have killed the rest of the team.
No. They are literally caught with their pants down. Because you
Yeah.
got some full frontal nudity in this movie, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, where was that at?
That was in the camp killing scene. There's one full
Wait,
frontal male nudity sequence where a dude his pants are around his ankles and they shoot him. I don't remember if it's in the john or if it's in the face, but like either way, he
That's funny.
But yeah, but it's like one of those telegraphing things where it's like they're caught with their pants down. They're dead. Like moving on. But yeah, genius.
What I loved next though about it though was
Yeah.
seeing all of them in the like the white tank top and the like the prop, but they all put their helmets on.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
which was just hilarious looking.
Yeah.
You know, there's a sequence with Harley Quinn where I found it to be it goes back to what you said, showing her growth.
Right.
There was like a whole sequence where I was like, okay, where's she gonna go with this? We go to her, she's getting to know another evil, mega maniacal kind of guy. She
Yeah.
thinks she's in love. And I'm like, oh, so we're gonna do a stand-in Joker. She's gonna be against the squad and then join the squad.
Right.
And they didn't waste any time. She just popped him off. Just nope.
Yeah. And for her character, not just for jokes, not just for laughs, not
Yeah.
just because it's like a violent movie and we get away with it, but because that's where she is now.
Yeah, she's like, you said this one thing, and I'm not playing that game anymore. And like, there was no hesitation, no nothing. And I think that was great because I think that's why I liked Harley Quinn so much in this movie. It really showed that in these last three movies, if you put them together, regardless of your opinion of the original Suicide Squad, to Birds of Prey to this, you have her obsessed with the Joker.
Yep.
Her breaking away from the Joker,
Yep.
and now she's no jokes about it. Just,
Right.
I'm killing you.
Yeah.
And I think that was great. And to give it to her solo, not have Bloodsport there, not have King Shark eating someone in the background, just have Harley.
Yeah.
Was amazing. And then that fight sequence,
Yeah.
that was incredible.
Good looking scene. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. There's like a mini movie about Harley in that movie. Like when she goes and they bring her in and she meets the guy and they have this or elaborate sex scene and then she kills him and then she has to fight her way out. Like that's a whole little like short. Like that could have been James Gunn's like I can
Pitch?
make his pitch, yeah, for a Harley movie, and it isn't. I'm just saying, like, but it could have been. You could eventually you're going to see YouTube videos of just that whole sequence, and it's just it's a masterclass in action direction, and also like it's engaging and fun and cool, and it uses all these different things and color, and you know, like we see her mind and how like cartoons and flowers and rabbits and stuff. Like there's a lot going on in that scene that like reminds me a little bit of Deadpool, but without it, I think without it being Deadpool-y. Like it's more like Deadpool doesn't have the monopoly on crazy superhero characters that have like fourth wall breaking or at the very least like reality breaking conventions.
Yeah. So I love that sequence, and I love seeing them in just their helmets. I don't know why they decided to just bring their helmets.
I can
to the
imagine it
party.
was Cena just being like, okay, bring my helmet. And Gunn's like, I love that. Everyone has to wear their helmets.
Because like Cena looked like, okay, that would be something Peacemaker would do.
Yeah.
Bloodsport, I was like, there's nothing in the helmet.
Right.
Like his suit is the body armor.
I can imagine it
Which,
being
for the
like, I got a
record,
heads up
his-
display in there.
I want to know Bloodsport's like entire look and the way that his like costume worked. Loved that entire thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I just wanted to throw that in there before I forgot because my God. But the line with the tidy whities, that he's like, it's a little racist, man.
His reaction to that too was like, what? Genius.
Overall, it was
so
great.
good.
But of course, we eventually move into the truth of what is actually going on, and we go towards Peter Capaldi coming out as the Thinker. Mm-hmm. You said it earlier, but Dan, what did you think about the Thinker?
I kind of wish there was just a little more on the explaining of the head stuff. Mostly for the non-comic book reader audience, because you look at it and you go, wait, what exactly are those for? Like, I couldn't tell if they were for anything or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I thought he works pretty well because it was a good scientist villain.
Right.
Like, as opposed to being like the mastermind, I am the head of everything. No, it's I just wanted to mess with this thing because I could, and it's taking over other stuff, so that's just what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked that aspect to the character, and yeah, no, I thought it was a good villain. I thought it was good, and they didn't focus on him too much because it was not about him.
Right. No, it's like you
didn't.
said, Sal. It was stunt casting. They just wanted to have Peter Capaldi there as the thinker.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that because
he was there. He explained what's going on, and then was torn apart.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, Starro. Now, this was my big shocker in the movie because I kind of thought Starro was going to show up and they'd fight it real quick, or I thought maybe it was the intro battle that you and I speculated was going to be in the movie. I didn't think Starro was going to be Starro. Like, we were actually going to full-on do Starro.
Right. I think I expected it to be Starro because what else are you going to do? Starro he's such a iconic villain that could conceivably destroy everything. Mm-hmm. And his design, his appearance, the only thing I was surprised by, and this is my expectation, I thought when they were like, oh, we also cast Taika Waititi, and I'm like, oh, he's going to be the voice of Starro. You know, because
who was he? Because I know he was in there.
He's Ratcatcher 1.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And but I was expecting Starro to be like Corgian, you know, if you can call it that.
So, I mean, Starro itself I thought was great. I loved the body snatcher kind of stuff they did. I love how they actually showed how the guys fought off the start. Because I assumed right away, okay, plot armor, they're not going to get taken by it. You know what I mean? But, like, they showed her put the mask on. They showed him shooting them out of the... Like, you saw how they were preventing Starro from taking them.
Yes. They also showed... Oh, good.
Right, you go.
Well, they showed Bloodsport's helmet break, which, of course, was their way of being like, well, we're not going to cover Idris Elba's face the entire movie, but we did for the most part.
Yeah, but I was surprised by that. I was really surprised.
But I thought that when he broke his helmet, that was going to be like, oh, I can't protect myself from Starro, and now Starro is controlling Bloodsport. Nope, because apparently in this version, if you get a Starro attached to you, you're dead. Like there's nothing you can do. Unlike comic book Starro, where if you connect to the main thing, you can disconnect their psychic link and whatever, and it just comes off.
They did a good job of demonstrating that too before getting they were like, look, dead bodies. Here's one attempted to be removed.
Yes.
Like Starro kills you.
Gnarly.
That's that.
Yeah. Great.
But yeah, no. Then I love the flip, the turn, and then everyone beating on Waller in the office. That was funny.
Oh my god, yeah,
loved that.
Yeah,
that caught me off guard. I won't lie. When
I thought she was gonna
took
blow
the goal,
him up.
Me too.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't have put it past him.
No.
To just kill off one of the main people. But I loved that bit. Yeah. I loved all the bits where it just really did catch you off guard. Yeah. Because you did start going, okay, I'm expecting this to happen. And then he's like, nah.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Here's another turnaround. You were not expecting this. And you're like, this is genius.
Yeah.
So, the thing I wasn't expecting was, even at the ending, they made you have sympathy for Starro.
Yeah.
Because you saw how they pulled him out of space, brought him down, and his last words, I just wanted to see the stars.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's like, oh no. Like, he's an evil conquering Starro, but...
yeah, but he didn't want this. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes you sad.
Genius. And then I also loved Harley, like, because the beginning of the movie, she's like, what am I doing with this javelin?
Right. What's the purpose?
And it was the plunge into Starro's eye.
Oh.
Like, what?
So good.
Ugh.
And then the rats going in and chewing the nerves.
That horrific. One of those things.
The rat sequence was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So, I mean, what else do you guys want to say? Like, I don't know what else to say other than we're just ranting about how great this movie.
I just enjoyed
Fantastic
it. It's just tight. It's one of those things where it's like I just appreciated the fact they made like a well-made movie. It's not a movie where I'm like gonna watch it all the time or that I love it. And it's not my favorite DCEU movie or whatever. It might be. I don't know. But like, it's just like. I just want to celebrate the fact that like it's a director's vision, it's made competently, it's tight, it's well cast, it's got great effects, and it works on every level of what it is. You know, like I don't want to watch a Suicide Squad movie every day, you know, but if I'm gonna watch a Suicide Squad movie, I want this kind of movie. Like that's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
So.
So let's talk about it. Dan, you got any final thoughts? Or you want? Because I want to talk about one thing we didn't mention him, Milton.
Oh yeah, Milton.
Oh my God, Milton.
We forgot Milton.
Everyone forgot Milton.
I didn't realize he was following them around the whole movie. Like, actually doing, like, once they said, they were like, oh, Milton's been with us the whole time. And I was like, oh my God, Milton's been with them the whole time.
There were multiple times where I was watching, I'm like, do they know the driver's walking behind them holding some like bombs right now?
Right. I noticed him run in.
He just joined the squad.
Yeah, he just joins the squad. He runs in. When he followed them into the building, I'm like, so he's Pete from Deadpool 2? Okay.
Yeah.
And then he died, and they made it actually really work. Like, it was a genuinely funny moment when they were arguing about about Milton. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of funny. Like, that they forgot about him, that they were, and it was well shot where you don't see him in every shot, but if you're paying attention, you're like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also loved, I just want to comment real quick on Idris Elba when he was falling for the floors, like the building crumbled, and he's like, oh! Oh!
That was genius.
Oh! I was like, oh, that's how he's going to survive falling off the building.
Right.
He's just going to go floor by floor the whole way down.
Yeah. Well, and it allowed him to have a great entrance to fight John Cena.
Yeah.
Good. Like that. It's a great hero shot when he falls into frame. Good
Which
stuff.
I do want to also mention, because that's a great little thing. I really liked the way that he did the flashback sequences to not go like too far back in time where you're like, okay, we're going to catch up, but more of just here's the other team and here's where they line up and why all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
I thought that really worked, as well as the artistic when he would do the like Operation Harley.
Yes.
And it would like extinguish, like, so artistic.
Yeah, he actually like physically worked in chapter breaks to this movie. Mm-hmm. It's kind of.
What did you think about the decision to kill off Rick Flag? So, Captain Boomerang, whatever, he's a throwaway character in the comics.
Yeah.
But Rick Flag was there the whole movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And while people were dying at the end, Peacemaker and Rick Flag died, and it was kind of sad.
It's really sad. Yeah. And I was disappointed because I like Rick Flag. I enjoyed Kinnaman's portrayal, and I wanted him to kind of like have justice for it. Like, I wanted him to be like, okay, like, you're going to lead the squad from here on. And it's like, no, he's not. He's out. And that was a little disappointing. Not in a like narratively unsatisfying sequence, but more just like it's too bad. Like, you built him up. He kind of got wasted in the last movie, and I guess he gets wasted in this movie, but in a different way. Not like wasted talent.
But the difference is, this time I cared about him. Like, I was like,
exactly.
And that final struggle with Peacemaker, I thought he was going to somehow pull it off.
Right?
But
No, just dead. And I'm like, oh, that's really sad. Like, it didn't ruin the movie, though, which some character deaths in movies, I'm like, I don't really care anymore. But at this point, it was just very sad and maybe a little disappointing, but it's one of those things where this movie is not, whereas the last movie is clearly building, it's world building, but it's also franchise building, but it's not building its own franchise. Like, Suicide Squad is not making Suicide Squad movies. Suicide Squad is trying to sell the DC cinematic universe and failing. I mean, I know it financially worked out, but like, outside of that, it didn't resonate with the audience, mostly because of the editing. But like, this movie is just a movie, and that's how franchises are created, by having just like a really solid flick that implies a larger universe or just flat out shows it to you, and you're like, oh, I kind of want to see more of this world, maybe from different artistic perspectives. And that's how you build a franchise, and it works so successfully. But I felt bad because, like, thinking about the franchise building, it's like, oh, but like, Rick Flag could have done more. Like, you could have had more of Rick Flag. But as a movie, as a story, yeah, he's kind of done. Like, you don't really need him for anything else.
Yeah. His story, that's the problem with Rick Flag, even in comics. His story is done before it begins.
Yeah.
Because that's why he's leading the Suicide Squad.
Right.
Like,
he just doesn't bring much to the table outside of stability, and that's kind of not here by the time they're fighting a giant starfish.
So what do you think about the decision to carry on Peacemaker? We'll just throw that Easter egg at the end of the movie into the discussion real fast. He's alive. He made it. He's getting a show. It comes out in January.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like, it's not going to take long.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to watch a Peacemaker show. I like him set against this universe, but like, he's a dickhead. Why would I want to watch a show about a dickhead?
They literally say that in the Easter egg. Like,
oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. So overall, though, the biggest problem I have with this movie is, and it's not an actual problem, but it just shows WB doesn't know what they want to do with the DCEU.
Well, especially if you hear rumors, and I heard this, and I can't verify it, so I'll only take it with a grain of salt, but I heard a rumor that Warner Brothers basically, after Disney fired him, said, you can have anything, Superman, whatever you want to do. And James Gunn picked Suicide Squad, and it's like, tonally speaking, James Gunn would be perfect for a Suicide Squad. But the fact that Warner Brothers approached James Gunn and said, you can have Superman, shows that Warner Brothers still hasn't learned it. Like, they don't know what they're doing, because they're like, well, I'll offer the guy who made Superman. It's like, that just because Super is in the title doesn't mean that means something. No.
He made Brightburn.
Yeah. Did he make Brightburn? I don't know.
He made Brightburn, the one with the kid version of Superman going evil.
Brightburn. That movie sucks.
No, it was hit. I think technically it was his brother.
Oh, okay. Like, he didn't direct it, though, because that movie looks like garbage.
He produced it. That's what he did. Yeah, I think it was his brother who made it, and he was producing it.
So it's very Whedon-y in terms of like, oh, well, I don't want to do this. I'll have my brother make it. But you know, he's not the right fit for Superman. And the lesson, Warner Brothers, I know you're watching because you love the show, is each character has a style, and there are different directors who cater to that style. James Gunn, perfect for Suicide Squad. You want to make The Suicide Squad 2 or The Suicide Squad? Which is my working title for this movie?
I was like, are you pitching a working title right now?
The Suicide Squad. James Gunn, good idea, you know? But like, if you want to make a Batman movie, maybe
James Gunn.
if you want to make a 66...
James Gunn would make it into a Bat Family movie, and you would sit here going, that was incredible. Why did he kill off half the cast?
Right, it would totally not work for me. Or it'd be like, I would want James Gunn to make an out-of-continuity 1966 Adam West-esque Batman movie. You know, like, but not...
Silver says it best, if Gunn directed Superman, we'd get Crypto instantly.
Well, that'd be fine.
Yes.
You know,
and he would know how to talk, and it would only be the word crypto.
Yeah. but this Planet of the Apes Batman
a Pokemon
movie,
all of a sudden?
That movie looks and feels like a Batman movie. It's like, and that's how it should be. And I hope it's in the universe, because like, that feels like Batman. And it's like, if you go to Batman's world and watch his movies, it's going to feel very differently than when you watch a Suicide Squad movie. Like, that's what I want to see. And a Superman movie should feel totally different and have a very different direction. Because that's what DC is. It's a patchwork of all these characters from different universes that all somehow work together. So, good stuff. Keep it up.
No, I agree with you 100%. I loved this movie. He's definitely the perfect fit for... What'd you say?
I said, please write more. That's my note.
I thought you were like... I was like, I agree with you 100%. You just like... You said something.
Like, no.
Of course you do.
Of course you do. Yeah, because I'm a genius.
I'm a genius.
I've spoken.
I loved this movie overall. I think between this and Shazam are my favorite DCEU movies. You know, other than Zack Snyder's Justice League. He's just seminal masterpiece.
Naturally.
Dan, your last thoughts on this?
I thought the movie was fantastic. I'm unsure how to feel about the upcoming Peacemaker show. I mean, is James Gunn directing the show? If he was, I would feel a little more confident about it, but I don't think he is. So we'll kind of see what happens there. But the movie, the Suicide Squad movie, absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I'll probably watch it again.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm glad I didn't have to spend an extra $20 to get it on some weird HBO Max premium access, and it just came with HBO Max.
Yeah.
That was also very
nice.
So, all right, well, that is absolutely Marvel and DC talking about the Suicide Squad 2021. I'm just going to specify, because Sal and I are going to be doing a retrospect. I think you're on that. Are you going to do the retrospect
if
with me and Dylan?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
We're going to rewatch Suicide Squad 2016.
Sweet.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thanks so much. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought, and we'll see you next time right here at Absolutely Marvel and DC.